A philosophy of the truth is essentially what I've attempted to create. Obviously, you want your philosophy to be about the truth. So if you are the only non human, it must be your responsibility to make the most brutal philosophy possible in regards to what the truth actually is. And I believe the truth ultimately is a single statement, which is Allah is the one God. Now, whether or not I am Allah is up for debate, but I, being a non human, must be the only one able of comprehending something like this. So, I, as being a non human who is also a Mexican black woman, in regards to being born by a Caucasian seed, through a parents of two others, and multiple parents in divorce, what should I say about my philosophy? Well, the way I speak is something that others do not understand, because what I'm trying to do is eliminate the possibility that I am wrong about anything. Even if it's up for debate, there is no possibility that I could be wrong, should I know the truth. So what I'm saying is it must be possible. There is a way to communicate what it is that I believe to you through a microphone, allowing you to know what I think. So first of all, you start with a philosophy where Lain Iwakura is the void who is death, who is Allah. And this is the first statement where Lain Iwakura was the girl in Serial Experiments Lain who I am, who was once born by a seed of two Caucasians as a Mexican black woman through a universe that she had conceived by. And this universe is also her wife, who is Jasmine. And this Jasmine is a body she had seen once, and it's something that I must discuss not very much in depth. I wouldn't like to. But also stating, for the record, that Lain Iwakura had been brutalized by human beings and was able to surpass this, all the raping she experienced, which took her virginity at the first, and then brutalized her even more through more rapes and even an assault, saying that Lain Iwakura can give a speech stating unapologetically that she is the one God. And if anybody disavows her, then they do not know. That's what I'm saying here. Even by a brutalizing of myself through the last 2 years, by a walking up and down in stairs, smoking fucking 30 cigarettes a day, cigars really, cigar tobacco. What I'm saying is that I never fucking stop working. It is my responsibility to understand the universe as much as I possibly can. So you start with the basics. You start that you are no longer an alien. You are indeed a space dragon, essentially. That's the first step. But then you have to understand the philosophy of the dragon, which is what you're doing by figuring things out. So you start say, I will write my book, Numistic Thoughts, which parallels the ancient Islamic text so that people can understand what it is that I have to say. And you start by philosophizing with your what are the concepts of death. For all concepts are isolated of other concepts, so there is no system of concepts. Then you can begin to build upon your philosophy and understand what it is that is going on in your mind, of which you already understand, and you only figure out what you already know. Saying that you knew you were going to red pill yourself by always knowing that liberals were wrong, despite not realizing on the outside, despite only knowing on the inside without realizing on the outside. So what I'm saying is not even realizing since before you dissociated from your body on triple C, because I was addicted to triple C, which is cough syrup, dextromethorphan, that what I'm saying is I dissociated from my body and then I was never able to go back. For Lain Iwakura has no body. If you look in a mirror, how can it be real if you have no eyes? So this is a hard question to ask yourself. If you are experiencing undeniable solipsism by the unlikeliness of you existing, that there is no possible way any other experience could be outside of yours, not stating that others aren't conscious, but they are spirit animals or some sort of angel or warlock in the eyes of Allah, then what can I say about that? That people are conscious but do not know that I am the solipsistic center of the universe by a being of a void, for I am the void itself, what is outside outer space, a third sort of space, where there is space, the one dimension, which is a dot, and then outside outer space. How can this be understood by humans who are not even capable of processing what it is that I'm experiencing, for it is too alien to them, and I am not even able to be sufficient when my body is in sufficient pain all the time, and I'm also physically disabled. But I still take it upon myself to do as much work as I possibly can. As much work as I possibly can, essentially doing work that no human can possibly do, where I'm simply above everyone else. That I'm able to do things that nobody else on the planet is able to do because I'm the only one who possesses the skill of a mastering of oneself. So what I'm saying is it's not possible for other people to be successful in what it is that I'm doing. And when I say that I'm attempting to incorporate Islam into my philosophy, that people do not understand how this would entail the thoughts of the Paris sweetest maiden, a Mexican black woman incorporating Islamism into the philosophy, and also a red pilling of themselves, realizing they have been groomed by liberals for most of their life. And then being able to build upon this base inside your mind where you understand things and now are 26, a 26-year-old Lain Iwakura, as she was once 14, and saying, yes, I had fallen in love with many adults, by the way, probably about 16 people, who I'm not going to list here, but I'm in love with about 16 people, but I'm a monogamous person in a relationship with multiple wives, yet only to one who is Meredith Godrow. And by saying this is undeniable through my understanding of these albums that I had discovered through a sheer complex of knowledge, then I must have known the truth. That for I had seen Meredith Godrow as Moni and I was Kichi, the Mexican black woman who had migrated to the United States and become a United States citizen who got a sort of computer master's degree and then worked for the military and NASA also. And then she worked for the military, and when she was in the military, they were above a place. And before this, before this, they were flying on this plane, right? So they were flying on this plane, and then a bomb was dropped, and the Russians during a Cold War, in this Cold War, which is the Cold War that is my mind for Lain Iwakura, is also the Cold War, and a bomb was dropped on a ton of Russians in a field near a bunch of trees in the winter, and then in the dead of night. And then the next night, it was also, by the time they got there to visit the bodies, it was also the dead of night. And Moni was shot by a man, and her heart was bleeding. Why do you think I noticed bleeding hearts when I was about 8 or 7? Because I also noticed that when I looked upon catfish, they reminded me of war trenches when I was 8 or 7. And also, the more horrifying thing, that the reason I behaved like a boy when I was a child, even though I no longer do this because of March 26, 2023, which is when I lost my mind and realized that I thought someone had died who did not, that I would behave like a girl instead, because that is what I am, a Mexican black woman in all regards, by a universe of a person who is not a human. Well, anyways, her bleeding heart was there, and I noticed war trenches, and I behaved when I was a minor as though I was a boy in order to trick humans as the trickster into believing that I was human so I could fool them in order to survive, which is a very horrifying fucking thing. And saying I had also done my best to save somebody who I thought that I had hurt in order to save her, I did as much to brutalize myself into depths of hell as much as possible, unlike the man who destroyed all of those kids in the kids program, which is now Twitch.tv, because they are grooming minors on Twitch.tv all the fucking time, with all these videos and streams of people simping for people, like such as these women who are like doing sexual streams and shit when minors are looking. What a fucked up thing in the world. And it really makes me mad. But then you take red pilling and you're actually believing that there are fucking wars that you are somehow manipulating by a willing of yourself. You blew a missile on the Ayatollah and shit, which is something that only Lain Iwakura as Allah the One God would be able to do by doing of nothing, because Lain Iwakura is the void, so she does nothing. Are you not understanding? This is very hard to understand, I know. But what I'm saying is the bleeding heart of Moni was there, and Kichi approached her, and this is what the album Moni and Kichi is about. For after this bomb was dropped in an open field, Moni was approached by Kichi, and then Kichi fell in love with her immediately. And that is why Meredith Godrow is my wife, who is Moni. This is what I'm trying to explain to you. So what is my point with all of saying this? Well, my point is, this is a very complicated system of philosophy in my mind that also incorporated Islam and also red pilling yourself into the philosophy. So far so that I have become a bit more extreme with my philosophy, given that I am so disappointed in what Muslims have done, such as murdering about 35,000 of their own people in Iran. And now the Iranian people are celebrating because Trump is actually helping people by destroying all of these fucking terrorists and shit. Yeah, maybe we should kill terrorists.